Breakfast.
Suckling on the teat of tech.
With Paul Brislen.
He's here to save the day and talk high-tech stories with us on this Friday, the high-tech stories of the week. Paul Brislen at twitter.com/Paul Brislen. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm well. I've finished riding the wave. I'm now on a buzz.
You're on the buzz. You've moved on. Although, haven't we all, really?
Yes, although I did. I had a Google innovationist, Justin Beard, in last week. He's based in Australia.
Yeah.
And he's a massive. Well, as you know, as you'd think, he's from Google and everything. But he's one of the chaps who puts his thinking cap on when it comes to uses for Wave.
Right.
And he was able to come up with all sorts of reasons why you might want to use Wave, but mostly if you were in an organisation.
Yeah.
Not really on a personal level.
And that's right. And inside a big company, things like version control, having 25 people scattered across 3 different time zones, all working on the same document, it can become a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
So from that side of things, I can see they're taking on the likes of some of the big software packages that companies tend to buy from the likes of Microsoft. I mean, these guys are giving it away for free. But I struggle to see how or why individuals, the mass consumer market would use it, if indeed that's who it's aimed at. I mean, maybe they are just floating the boat and they'll say, right, well, this is a great business tool, we'll pitch it as such in future and market it that way.
Yeah. Well, and what they have done yesterday is launch something called Google Buzz.
Google Buzz.
What is it, Paul?
Well, Google Buzz is, as far as I can tell anyway, it's their version of the likes of Facebook or Twitter, what we're constantly talking about, social media. And Google Buzz allows you to do all of the sort of things you would get on your Facebook page. That is, you can upload photos, you can share video clips, you can communicate with people in a social media kind of environment. And you've got to say, well, that's very interesting. I always just assumed that Google would one day end up buying Twitter, but they've bought other companies in the past, and they've sort of just disappeared from sight. So perhaps what they've been doing quietly in the background is putting together the buzz, and here they are ready to go out to market with it. And
so what they say is go beyond status messages, share updates, photos, videos, start conversations about the things that you find interesting, all within your Gmail. You have to be a Gmail user to use it.
You have to be a Gmail user, and that is that's the interesting bit. You've got to be a Gmail user to get access to it, and it automatically raids your Gmail files and says, oh, look, all these other people on Gmail are also now using the Buzz. So you're already building on a network that already exists in many respects. But and Gmail is about 170 million people around the world using Gmail these days. So it is a big field to play in. But really they're coming quite late to the party, and a lot of people are already quite happily established on either Facebook or Twitter or both. And, if you're just interested in the short, sharp, instant message updates, then Twitter's for you. And if you want to do more and have a social experience, then perhaps Facebook is for you. So they're trying to play in the gap in between the two, and I wonder whether there's room for them. Mind you, having said that, I know a lot of users on Facebook who are completely turned off by the sort of the rampaging number of applications and blinking, flashing lights and things that can go on Facebook, and I think that is an issue for users, that it's just become overused, and I can well see Twitter going the same way. I'm starting to see an awful lot of Twitter spam coming through my stream, and
one sort of thing I got in my Twitter feed yesterday when people were talking about Buzz is that suddenly that they were thinking, oh, my inbox is getting crammed with social media, with status updates, with comments on my comments.
Yep.
And is it overkill? I mean, do we need this third wheel?
Yes, another one. I know, and it's tiring enough managing Twitter accounts and then your Facebook and trying to link them all in. You might have LinkedIn as well if you're a business customer and you want to network as an employee or an employer. So there's a whole raft of people doing that these days as well. Is there really space for yet another one? Well, I'll never say never, but it would have to be pretty special to lure the crowds away, I think, from the likes of Twitter and Facebook. Having said that, of course, once upon a time, Twitter and Facebook were having the same thing said about them, and everybody was on MySpace or Bebo, and these days they seem to have died a bit of a death.
Well, they're already ahead, really, aren't they, with users, with Gmail users.
That's right. That's right. They've got that huge base to work from, so that gives them a tremendous leg up in the market. And it is part of Google's grander plan, which is to integrate everything built around your Gmail account. So you get location-based services, you get moving out to the mobile devices, so that you're out there in the world, your account and you go with you. It's all about operating in the cloud, so you never need to worry about logging on again. You just find another terminal and carry on from wherever you left off. Yeah, which is really quite powerful. That's that can't be underestimated. Software as a service or this kind of cloud computing model is really quite powerful, and I think that's really is the way of the future. You don't need to store a lot of stuff on your local drive, and that frees it up so you can do other things.
This is right. On to another piece of news that something got you excited this morning, Paul. Something about a fembot. Come on, what's going on?
Fembots, killer robots, striding through the streets looking for poor men. No, it's a bad science fiction film. Or it's something nasty that could happen to you if you're a little lonely this Valentine's Day, by the sound of things.
Oh, yes.
A few years ago, there was a bit of a surge in problems with lonely men looking for love or similar online, and discovering that they were in fact chatting with a software construct in various different chat rooms, and had in fact handed over their credit card details and signed up with a service that they thought would ensure them everlasting love or something similar, and instead they just got ripped off. And Fembot was quite a nasty little surprise for a lot of them a few years ago. It sounds like it's resurging, and perhaps this Valentine's Day, the new Fembot, with a bit more in the way of smarts and a little bit more capability, appears to be doing the rounds again. So there are some warnings coming out of Europe and the States at the moment saying if you are into chatting in social media circles and in certain websites about your love life, play it safe on the radio this time of day, then perhaps you ought to really be careful about your credit card details as well.
So play it safe in all aspects of your love life.
That's right. Safe online sex. Yeah. Don't hand out your credit card details just because she admires the prowess with which you type. Yes.
The other big geeky thing for us, Paul, and 150 other bods from around New Zealand and actually around the world as well, is something called Foo Camp.
That's right. An annual event held, Nate Torkington and a crowd of folk have been putting on this event now for a few years, and this is an unconference, which sounds incredibly .com and incredibly, conference 2.0.
Yeah.
But it's actually bags of fun. So what we do is we all turn up. It's invite only, so there are all these people who think about these things and chatter about them all the time. And there's a wall of empty slots. Empty times, if you like. So on Monday at 9 a.m. we can talk about this, and there's nothing in that space, and you have to basically populate it yourselves with whatever you want to talk about. Last year, the big outtake for me was copyright. A lot of people very concerned about the newly introduced Section 92 copyright legislation and what that would mean, and from the Foo Camp, a grassroots movement was born, which saw international coverage of the issue, and eventually the government backed down and removed Section 92, and we're hopefully going to see a bright, shining new version of it that doesn't make you a criminal just for owning a computer, which is probably a big win. So this year could be quite interesting. I'll be very interested to see what the emerging trends are.
Yeah, well, I guess, because I've been very chuffed to be invited this year as well, and so I'm looking forward to going up there today. And I guess I'll be sort of more of an observer. I mean, I plan on participating, but I think in this early stages of Foo Camp, I'll just see what's going on.
That's right. Get a lay of the land, and I must say I did a fair bit of that last year. Join into the conversations, but starting something.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are very high powered. You do get the likes of Google and Microsoft and people from overseas coming along. I'm not sure if he's there this year, but Ben Goodyear, who's a local chap who is now working for Google, and is one of the developers of Firefox, the browser of choice for just about everybody these days.
Yes.
He was there last year and had some interesting things to say about the developments and some of the thinking going on overseas about how the internet will evolve but also at a local level. You know, somebody set up a session on schools. What can we do as geeks, as technology people, to better help schools teach the kids? And he was coming at it from the point of view that, well, teachers need a lot of tools, and we're the people who can build tools, so we should build them a lot of tools.
Yeah.
And thankfully, there was a teacher there who said, actually, we don't need more tools. What we need is for you guys to actually come along and get involved, and as people, as individuals, and he rattled off what he does in an average day, starting at 7 a.m., going through to about 8 or 9 at night, every day of the week, 5 or 6 days a week. And it was really quite phenomenal. And the last thing they need is yet another layer of application development stuck on top of them. They just need more time in their day. These teachers work astonishing hours, and we entrust them with the future of our families and our country, in effect. Get involved was his advice, and I'd love to see the outcome of that this year and see whether anybody actually has.